Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Napoleon Total War 3 with this Ottoman campaign. Last time around we fought over in Bucharest, Wallachia, up here where we met a 24,000 strong Russian army invading and actually taking the town from us. We had our weakest army defending the area. We barely managed. We lost about 4,000 men. We took about 4,000 Russians with us. A lot of the generals died though, which should really mean that they shouldn't get any replenishment, because that's how it works. Or at least for me, if I don't have a general, that means that they cannot get reinforcements. But clearly the AI doesn't play by the same rules. I moved over one of the militia unit that I had protecting the port, so that the closest road would be closed. Now, I thought the Russians were going to go ahead and attack and take the bridge, but they didn't. Instead, what they did, they moved around, which I think very much saved my capital from being capped directly. Now the problem is that I cannot move. As you can see, I'm not within striking distance. Now what I can do is I can remove this guy, but that opens up for these guys to flood through. So what I think we'll do is we'll attack here and we'll leave the two 3-pounder guns to come in as reinforcement as I attack over here. Going over... Yes, I was sending over the general. Apparently I forgot a general over down here. I sent him over to march as quickly as he could to Istanbul. He was actually intercepted by a Russian spy. And somehow he was stopped here, so he can't move any further. So he won't be able to get to the town. If we go further through here, my army managed to land, of course. So we've got 2 armies in this region now. This one's about to replenish, and this one is, I mean, it's 1 turn away from being completely replenished. So both these will hopefully be able to join in the attack on Milan, and we'll take Milan. And then hopefully we can go down south and take Rome. Now there is a Prussian army that's turned up over here. It's a rather large one. And as far as I can see, the Bavarians haven't actually at all recruited any troops besides the 4 they start with. So that's a bit disconcerting. The fact that they're not getting any more. If you compare that with my other allies, like the Italians have a full stack in their hometown, and they've got one, basically another full stack outside. The Hungarians, similarly, got 1 full stack in town, and then they got about 1 outside as well, and this one even protects the 2 bridges. Now what they would really do is protect this bridge as well, I think. But now they do not have any enemies, and... Well, like, no, you know what? Not protect this bridge at all, because if an attack comes from France, then they're obviously going to go down through here, and any army caught here would be isolated. Here, they all are within range to defend the capital. So that's quite good. And, I mean, they're protecting against, if the Prussians come down, then this bridge is definitely the one to protect. And if the Russians come, then definitely this one. If France attacks, they cannot really hope to do anything. Right. With all of that said, what we're going to do today is we're going to fight the battle over here. We're going to stop this Russian army and somehow try to make sure that our capital doesn't fall to the Russians, because that would be not that great. It can fall, not just yet, because I need to take Rome first. Rome needs to fall and be looted by me before my enemies take my capital. We're gonna go ahead and attack. And Looks like it's rather easy army, in fact. Now, they do have some units, but a lot of this is the obligene. So my grenadiers should be able to do that, plus got good cannons, good cavalry and so forth. So without further ado, let's take down one of the Russian armies and defeat the Russians in detail. Pretty straightforward setup. I've got my grenadiers behind cover, we've got the howitzers, we've got the bowmen in the back, cavalry on the flanks. And I think we'll actually advance on the enemy. They have dug in over there. So let's see if we can't dig them out. Let's see, my cannons. Oh, it's gonna take them forever to get into the battle. So they turn up over here. I guess the best bet is to set them to march to about this area right here. So they will be marching roughly there. And from there we'll figure out what to do with them next. Let's see, Russian, so far we can only see the Russian general, a Russian battery. Ah, look at that, they ran into the same problem I have, which is that these obstacles actually kill the battery for some reason. The Russians have left their positions as well, marching out to meet us. Right. We'll redraw the line. I'll focus the bowmen where I think the enemy is gonna come and attack the hardest. Definitely gonna get our cavalry set on the flanks. Get the general up here. I'll support the men. Okay, these guys could not, no, they could not form square. It's going to be important that we take out the enemy cavalry, because they have a lot of it. Okay, we have some fighting starting over on this side. Before the enemy is able to flank me with their cavalry, I'm going to charge them. The cuirassiers is actually falling back under the pressure of our attack. And they're coming right in front of the grenadiers. Similar thing is happening over on that side. And we're kind of herding the enemy in front here. And I'm gonna let my cavalry to continue through and get them, as many of them as possible. Let's go ahead and sandwich this one and try to kill him off. My cavalry continue through and they hit an obligene while charging down the enemy. I could probably force my way through, but we're not going to. We're gonna retreat instead and re-establish ourselves. Oh, they sandwiched themselves. Problem here now is that I have no cavalry available to stop this guy. So I'll like slightly adjust that guy to face this cavalry. We're gonna boost that grenadier unit by inspiring it, and I'm also gonna rally this area. And I hope that we're able to, yes, just in time, as quickly as bloody possible, get over there and get those guys. And save my flank. We've got a Russian cavalry charge going in through the center. You can kind of see the arrows coming in as well overhead. So they're trying to break my flank. We're gonna attack their flanks right now. Cavalry going in. Ooh, this unit's not looking too good. If we can break here, and if this unit wants to hold, that would be nice. If my cavalry over here can just route through this, and then you'll go out on a flank there. Ooh, they're holding on. I'm gonna inspire you now, because this one is not as important than that one's holds anymore. And actually, I'm gonna pull it back, and they can fire into the side of the enemy as they're fighting my cavalry. Oh, my cavalry is now. But these guys are out of ammo. They'll join on this side. This one turns slightly. Get my cavalry to run through. The enemy were not able to really attack on the center. What is needed now is focused results over on this side. My cavalry is holding on. These guys are helping out tremendously by firing into the backs of the Russians. Forward the archers. Rally. We got mass rout among the Russians. Let's exploit that. Keep the cavalry going. Grenadiers back up onto the front. March on the enemy. I want you to get extra shots in there. We're gonna barrage with the cannons. And it looks like we're winning, boys. It looks like we're winning. And we won really pretty quickly as well. Let's get these three facing that way towards the Jaeger unit. And these guys to advance slightly, followed by the bows. So the hardest fight went down here, but the Grenadiers hold. They held on even through all that. The main thing is, really, now at least, is to make sure that we kill off as many of these Russian troops as possible. This army needs to get entirely wiped from the face of the earth. I'm gonna move my cavalry to sandwich the remaining units over here. Gonna tell the howitzers to hold fire just for now. The Jaegers break even before my cavalry arrives, so they can ride straight in to that Grenadier regiment. My Grenadiers will advance. Russians kind of coming back over here. So what we'll do is we'll put these units facing the enemy over there. Oh, my battery has just arrived. Obligene. Blast them. And my cavalry ran down these guys. The smaller unit will continue on and annihilate them. Cavalry will establish there. This brigade march into the forest. We've got an artillery piece out there. That's what my howitzers will focus on. A lot of these units are broken down to about 50 to 100 men, so that's good. The two Obligene units is coming under heavy fire from my battery over here. And I do think we probably could just run them down with our cavalry. What units do I have here? This one will actually ride up there and get rid of that one. I'll tell the howitzers to hold fire and instead Fire on these guys over here, and then these 2 units. I think these 2 are enough to probably take out the 2 Obligene units. And then we will have victory! And we will have crushed part of that 24,000 man army. Not that the Russians will sue for peace after losing 24,000 men. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So far we've only defeated about... With this army, probably numbering about 4,000. That means we have defeated around 8,000 Russians. Roughly speaking. Why did you not completely take out the battery? Make sure to chase these guys down. And over here, the battery was done. And why don't you make sure that that one falls as well? Boom. Victory. Went pretty fast. It was a bit touch and go at this flank, but we were able to hold on. And we have stopped the enemy from getting to my capital. Which is wonderful news, I must say. Here we have the statistics of the battle. We lost about 600 men, or 598 to be precise. The enemy deployed about 4,000 men. They lost 3,500, 700 remaining. Highest killer on our side is one of the cavalry, which almost got 700 kills. And then it's all cavalry actually, until you get to one grenadier unit. They got 340 kills. Very nice battle all around. And a very deserved battle marker. Hopefully this means that the capital is safe, at least for now, or a little bit. And hopefully the Russians back off. There's not much more I can do. We need to replenish these guys a little bit more, and the thing is, going against Milan is quite a big battle because they've got full stack there and they've got full stack in town. But I want to get a bit closer to that, so we are going to go ahead and end turn, and I do want to see if the Russians are going to press forward, because I mean, I have nothing to defend the capital with. But I don't think there's a that stack right there could march technically, but only if it gets access to the road, which it won't. So it'll have to bypass, probably losing time. So yeah, should be relatively safe. There's 2 turns away until the veteran Turks are there, so kind of too long really. But yeah. Anyways, let's end turn and see what happens. And we're back after the end turn, and the enemy actually marched on Constantinople, is laying it under siege. Path blocked. City is besieged. Army was... so I can't move the cannons, because they were sabotaged. That doesn't actually matter that much. And I'll just reorganize this army and they'll be able to resupply. What the Italians did wrong here is they actually moved their army into attack position against Venice. That means that I can march through and attack that single army that is defending their hometown. Once I get rid of that, then there's the other army cease to exist. We just recruited 2 ships, which means that I hopefully will be able to open my port. If it weren't for the fact that we've got a massive British fleet under Herocian Nelson has turned up, sunk my little sloop, we got a French ship with a army ready to be released somewhere along my coast. Not very great. My navy here. How far will they go? They will go about there. We'll see if they're able to actually get to the Russians. My army is now blocked by the Russians. They've placed one army here. Bastards. A lot of them. We've got another one there. This one right here. All I've got is militia here. However, I will be able to send the general here to actually join in the defense. Hopefully, these guys cannot call on this army, so I might actually be able to take these and march out, defeat these. And then, I'm not entirely sure what I'll do up here. We'll have to march and attack this one, but we'll still have this full stack right here, which is going to be difficult to deal with. Then the French are going to land somewhere along my coast, who knows where. And we've got a Russian army actually moving through here, moving to attack Belgrade, which I have nothing in. So everything's really crumbling with that big Russian attack. What the saving grace is that it looks like I will be going to Rome at some point here, as I will be able to take out the Italians, and then we will have a good road down to Rome, 2 armies ready to march down. Very nice. So we'll be able to loot Rome. Question is, will we be still in control of our own capital when we do? That's the big question. With Constantinople being taken, all of the rest of our empire would probably crumble quite quickly. You could imagine in a roleplay scenario that you know, a lot of these regions like Croatia, Belgrade and Balkans, Greece, the puppet state would probably revolt against me. Whatever else I've got would all kind of go against me, and the Ottoman Empire would almost entirely be dissolved almost. Or I guess the focus would then be around, would shift from Constantinople and from kind of the Turkish homelands. And maybe the new center of power would be around more towards Egypt, maybe. Because of, what's it called? Anyways, that's just me thinking about that. Right. I mean, we can clearly now kind of see an end to this. I'll be doing the battles in this region. I don't think I will be showing any more battles over here, because, I mean, that's kind of grindy. Go through this, go through that. Just kind of show you the most important of what happened here. And then, I mean, France gonna land troops. They could definitely send an army down there, take that. They couldn't land really close to Greece, take that. So I'd quickly lose everything. But as long as I have just enough money to pay for the armies that I have here, then we should be able to make it to Rome. With all of that said, I'm gonna say, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!